Okay, so for this one, so I'm going to go over these answers. This one asks for the parent graphs. So you want to look at what's happening to x. So this is, since x is being cubed, then this is y equals x cubed. This one's a circle because you have an x squared and a y squared. So it's x squared plus y squared. And then the normal parent graph, right, of a circle has a radius of 1. And then here, x has absolute value around it. So parent graph is y equals absolute value of x. Now for the transformations, you want to look for any right or left shifts, up or down, and any stretches. So this one has something in front, so that's a stretch. So that's your A value of 0.25, which is less than 1. So it widens. And then this one, you only have, and then, oops. And then this here, you add or subtract a number to x, right? It's a left or right shift, and it's the opposite, so it's -8, so it's right 8, and any number added or subtracted in the end is up or down, and since it's added, it's up 2. Now here, there are no a values, so there's no stretches, there's only, um, in fact, there's only a left shift here because you have +3, so it's left 3, and then also the radius has changed, and the radius is equal to 5. And then here there's a left or right shift, it's -5, so right 5, and then there's an up or down shift here is outside the parentheses. So remember, inside the parentheses are left and right shifts. They're like numbers added or subtracted to x. And then outside, that will be up 3. Okay, now for this one, it says solve each system of the equations without graphing. So you want to set these equations equal to each other. So 1/3 x squared plus 1 equals 2x minus 2. Probably should get rid of the 1/3, so let's multiply by 3. You get x squared plus 3 equals 6x minus 6. And then let's set it equal to 0 because you have a quadratic. So then you get x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. And then we can do the quick factoring. So this 9 goes here, minus 6 goes here, and you get -3, -3. So this factors to x minus 3 times x minus 3 equals 0. And so then that means your only answer is what makes this 0, which is x equals 3. And then remember, that's your x coordinate of your point of intersection. So to figure out like what your y coordinate, you can plug it into either of these. I'm going to plug it into the line because it's a little easier. So y equals 2 times 3 minus 2, which is 6 minus 2, which is 4. So your answer is 3, 4. Okay, now let's go into B. So you set them equal to each other. So root x minus 3 is equal to x minus 5. And then to get rid of the root, you square both sides. And then you got x minus 5. And then you have to do the area model here. And you got x squared minus 10x plus 25. And since you get a quadratic, you should set it equal to 0. So subtract x, add 5. Then you get x squared minus 11x, and then 25 plus 5 is 30 equals 0. Then again, that does a quick factoring. So you put 30 up here, negative 11 here, and then you get negative 6, negative 5. So it factors to x minus 6, x minus 5 equals 0. So then you have x equals 6 and 5. And then again, those are your like x coordinates of your points of intersection. So you have one point that's 6 something and one point that's 5 something. And then you plug that in. You can plug it into either, but there's a little easier. So then it'll be y equals 6 minus 5, which is 1. So you have 6, 1. And then y equals 5 minus 5, which is 0. So then you have 5, 0. And then those are your 2 points. Oops. Of intersection. Okay, last one. This kind of, there are 2 lines and it's kind of set up to be substituted. So you plug this into there, and then you get 6x minus 2 times 3x plus 2 equals negative 4. And then that's 6x, and then distribute the negative 2, get negative 6x minus 4 equals negative 4. And then you can see like these cancel, and you get negative 4 equals negative 4. So since you get an equation with no x's, that's true because negative 4 does equal negative 4, then your answer is all real numbers. There you go. Okay, so now here it says Estelle and Carlos will be hosting a party and will buy 6 pies for their guests. 2 lemon meringue pies cost 3 less than 4 blueberries. 3 lemon meringue pies cost 9 more than 3 blueberry pies. Okay, so let's just write that down. So it says 2 lemon meringue. So 2 lemon meringue cost 3 less. So minus 3 than 4 blueberry pies. So we got that. 2 lemon meringues cost 3 less. And then 3 lemon meringues cost 9 more. So since it's more, plus 9, than 3 blueberry pies. Okay, and so you can kind of see it's set up to be solved by elimination. So I'm going to make these equal. So I'm going to multiply this one by 3 and this one by negative 2. And then you get 6L minus 9 equals 12B. And this one you get negative 6L minus 18 equals negative 6B. And then you add them together. And then these cancel. And then you get negative 27 equals 6B. And then you divide by 6. And you get that a blueberry costs negative 27 divided by 6, which would be 4.5, so $4.50. And then you just plug it in to get your other one. So I'll plug it in here. So 2L minus 3, equals 4, and then the blueberry cost $4.50. So 2L minus 3 equals 18. So 2L equals 21. And then so L equals 10.50 when you divide by 2. Right, you get 10.5. So those are your prices. Okay, so for this one, it says if g of x equals x plus 1 squared, repeat each of the following. So ask for g of 5. So we'll go ahead and plug that in. So that will be 5 plus 1 squared, which is 6 squared, which is 36. And then for b, you have g of 2m plus 4. So that would be 2m plus 4 plus 1 squared, which is 2m plus 5 squared. And then there you'd need to do like an area model. So 2m plus 5 times 2m plus 5, because that's 2m plus 5 squared, and then you get 4m squared, 10m, 10m, 25. So then that equals 4m squared plus 20m plus 25. And then for the last one, it says when g of x equals 9, so when, oops, I wrote this wrong. So then you set 9 equal to x plus 1 squared, and then you do the area model there, and you'll get x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then you subtract 9. And then this doesn't factor. You'll have to use like the quadratic formula. Just kidding, it does factor. So you get two numbers that multiply to -8 and add to 2 are 4 and -2. So this factors to x plus 4 and x minus 2. So your answers are the opposites of these, what makes them 0. So -4 and 2. Here's the answer there. Forgot to box my answers. There you have it. Okay, so for these ones, it says complete the square to change the following equations to graphing form, then sketch each. So this one's a parabola, so we so you want to make like, your area model, and then you want to make room to add this, and then whatever you add, you also must subtract, and you add what completes the square. So you put your x squared here, and then you split this into halves so you can have equal dimensions. And then you figure out your dimensions, so they should be the same, x plus 2 and x plus 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So that's what you add and subtract, right? And then this factors to your dimensions here. So x plus 2 squared, and then 6 minus 4 is 2. And that is graphing form. And then your vertex is the opposite of this one, and then the same as this one. So then your sketch would be negative 2, 2 would be here, and then it's just like a regular size parabola. And then for B, this is a circle. Like, you knew this was a parabola because the x squared, you know this is a circle because the x squared and the y squared. So you just need to complete the square twice. So whatever you add here, then you need to add on the other side. And whatever you add here, you need to add on the other side. So you make two area models to figure out what you add and what it will factor to. So you put your x squared here, and then you split this into 3x and 3x. Figure out your dimensions. They should be the same, x plus 3, x plus 3. So then you need to add 9, and then you add it here too. And then here, you put your y squared here, and then you split this to negative 4y and negative 4y, so you have the same dimensions of y minus 4. And then negative 4 times negative 4 is 16, so that's what you add here and here. And then this factors to the dimensions of this, which is x plus 3 squared. And then this factors to the dimensions of this, so that's y minus 4 squared. And then equals 9 plus 16, which is 25. And that's graphing form of the circle, where your center is the opposite of this, so negative 3, and the opposite of this, which is 4. And then your radius is the square root of this, which is 5. So then you sketch it. So your radius is 5. So that's what your circle looks like. Okay, let me clear the screen for 3-21. Okay, so it says solve each of the following inequalities. So this one's a linear inequality that's absolute value. So you first need to isolate the absolute value. So divide by 2, and then you get 3x minus 5 is greater than equal to 2. And then you make your two inequalities. So 3x minus 5 is greater than equal to 2. And then 3x minus 5 and then you flip the sign because you need to make it to -2. And then you solve each of those. So you add 5, and you get 3x is greater than or equal to 7, divide by 3, and you get x is greater than or equal to 7/3. And then here you add 5, and you get 3x is less than or equal to 3, and then divide by 3, and you get x is less than or equal to 1. And then you put those on your number line. So 1's here, and then 7/3 is bigger than 1, right? Because 3/3 is 1. 7/3 is like 2 1/3. So this one greater than or equal to 7/3, that'll be a closed dot in this direction, and then less than or equal to 1, closed dot this direction. There's your answer. Okay, and then for this one, you want to isolate what's being cubed. So you subtract 4, and then you get 1/3 times 3 minus 6 cubed is less than 9. And then you want to multiply by 3 to get rid of the 1/3. So then that's 3x minus 6 cubed is less than 27. Okay, and then we're going to change this into an equals so we can find that boundary point. So we're going to cube root this, and then we'll get 3x minus 6 equals the cube root of 27, which is 3. And then you solve that, so you add 6, and you get 9. Okay, so then that's our boundary point. Oops. And it will be an open circle. And then you just test a point, like test a point 0. We'll just put it in here. So you got 3 times 0, which is 0, minus 6 cubed. So that will be negative 6 cubed, which is negative 216. And that's less than 27, right? So then that's true. So we shade over here. Right, and then if we put something like 4, then you get 12 minus 6 cubes, that's positive 216, which is not less than 27, so we do not shade. So that's the answer. Our answer is x is less than 3. Okay. Okay, so it says graph the following systems of inequalities. So this one, I'm just going to do a sketch of them. So y is less than or equal to 4x plus 16, right? Um, so that has a y-intercept is 16 and a slope of 4. So, and it'll be solid. So it'll be like something like that. That's a sketch. And then shaded, that'll be shaded below. So I'll just make arrows for now. And then y is greater than negative 4/3 x minus 4. So that's like y-intercept of negative 4. And then negative 4/3, right, be a lot shallower. And then it'll be dotted. So, and then greater than is like above. So then you shade the area where they intersect. So that's over here. So then we'll shade over here. Okay, so for B, same thing. This one, this factors to x minus 3 and x plus 1. So, and so your x-intercepts are 3 and 1, and it's up, right up, an right side up or up parabola. So, and I do dash. So let's here it's like 1 negative 1. Say that's 3, and then we want to do dotted. And it says less than, so we're going to be shading below. And then 3/4 x plus 2, that has a y-intercept of 2. And then a little bit shallower than slope of 1. And then it'll be solid. And then less than, that's this way. So the overlap is below both the parabola and the line, which is over here. Okay. Oops. Okay, so for each of these, we're supposed to solve each of these equations. So normally, like if there's a square like this, you would want to isolate it and square root it, but because there's this x, that's not really going to help you, so you do have to expand that. So using an area model, you get 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. So this is what this expands to. And then let's distribute that. That's 12x squared minus 12x plus 3 plus 12 equals 4x minus 3. Right, it's a quadratic that we need to solve, so we need to set it equal to 0. So that's 12x squared minus 16x plus 6 plus 12, which is 18. Okay, and then let's make it a little easier. Let's divide everything. Oops. By 2. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that we can divide it by. So that's 6x squared minus 8x plus 9. And then let's solve this using an area model in diamond because we have something here. So the 6x squared goes here, the 9 goes here. You multiply them, you get 54x squared. And then you put the negative 8x here. So unfortunately it doesn't factor. So then the next step is to use the quadratic formula, but then you get a negative under the square root. So that means there's no real solution. And if you graph like each of these like that separately, you'll notice that they don't intersect, so that confirms that there's no real solution. Okay, now moving on to B. So we want to add the x to both sides, and we get 3x plus 1 equals x minus 3. And then now we want to untrap the x by squaring both sides. Then we get 3x plus 1, and then you have to use the area model there. You get x squared minus 6x plus 9. So you get a quadratic, so we need to set it equal to 0. So minus 3x minus 1. So then we get x squared minus 9x plus 8 equals 0. Thankfully, that does factor to x minus 8, x minus 1 equals 0. So you get x equals 8 and 1. And then because when we squared it with an x, we do need to check for extraneous solutions. So if you plug in 8 here, you'll get the square root of 25, which is 5, and then minus 8 is negative 3. So that one does work. And then now we want to plug in 1. So we'll get 3 times 1 plus 1 is the square root of 4, which is 2, minus 1. That does not equal negative 3. So this one does not work. So our only answer is x equals 8. Okay, let's move on to the next two. So for C, you really should get rid of those fractions. So multiply by 4. And then, oops, I wrote the problem down wrong. So then you get 3x squared plus 5x plus 2, or, did that wrong too. Okay, so it's a quadratic, so we need to set it equal to 0. So that's 3x squared minus 5x minus 2 equals 0. And then we need to use the area model and diamond. So 3x squared goes here, negative 2 goes here, so negative 6x squared goes here, negative 5x goes here, so negative 6x and x multiply to negative 6x squared and add up to negative 5x. So then that's 3x times x plus 1 minus 2. So this factors to 3x plus 1 and x minus 2 equals 0. So then you set each of those equal to 0. And then you get x equals negative 1/3 and x equals 2. And those are your two answers. Okay. Last equation here. So you want to distribute the 4x, so that's 4x squared minus 8x. And then you want to use an area model for this one. So that's 4x squared, 2x, negative 6x, negative 3. So you got 4x squared minus 4x minus 3. Oh, nicely these, when you realize, when you try to set it equals 0, or you notice these go away. So then you get negative 8x equals negative 4x minus 3. You add 4x to both sides. You got negative 4x equals negative 3. Divide by negative 4. and you get your answer of positive 3/4. Oops. Okay, moving on. Okay, so it says an average classroom holds 36 students. Make a complete graph showing the relationship between the number of students in a school and the average number of classrooms required. Okay, so number of classrooms, number of students. Okay, so one classroom can hold 36 students, right? So you could have, if you had just one student, right, that would be one classroom. If you had two students, that would be one classroom. Three students, one classroom, all the way to 36, right? You would have, but let me fix that. But if you had 0 students, let me use a different color. So if you have 0 students, you wouldn't need any classrooms. But if you had 1 or all the way up, then up to 36, you just need one classroom. But then if you had 37 students, you would need 2 classrooms. So 36. Whew. So 36, you need one classroom. So you wouldn't need 2 classrooms for 36. But anything more than 36, you need 2 classrooms up until 72. And then 70, and then you'd need, after that, you would need 3 classrooms and so forth. So it looks like this. Okay, so that's 3, 124. And then for this one, 3-125, even, odd, or neither. So just remember, even is y-axis symmetry, odd is origin symmetry. So you just need to look at what the shapes of these graphs are. So for x cubed plus x that graph looks like this, more or less. So that's origin symmetry. So that's odd. This graph looks like this. So that doesn't have either. So that's neither. Oops, should probably spell neither correctly. And then this last one, x to the 4th plus 3x squared. That graph looks more or less similar to a parabola, and that has y-axis symmetry, so that's even. So there you go. And then 126 is just checking your answers. So I put the answers posted on the assignment. So hopefully you already checked them and you're watching this video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.